So, Spider-Man 2 is coming out, the game, obviously. I'm really excited about it. I hope that they go for a multi-branching timeline kind of story, something like Detroit Becomes Human. I'm really a fan of replaying games, so maybe that could be a thing they could talk about. Also, excited for Little Nightmares 3, and when I've talked about Little Nightmares 3 too many times now. And the other game I'm excited about, Wukong. Yeah, Black Myth Wukong is coming out as well. I hope it's early next year. So that I could get the game, play the game, and obviously I'm a casual gamer, so I definitely think that maybe I could play it in maybe 3 hours, 4 hours. I don't know. I don't know how long the game is. What my expectation for Wukong is probably gonna be the God of War route. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if they will do that because the God of War route technically is God of War is him killing the gods, but uh, you know well, I mean, they could do it, because essentially the early stages of Wukong is actually him destroying stuff, like him wreaking havoc on heaven, and then him being punished, and then him having to guide a new master, which is Tripitaka or the master, uh, the the master monk who was supposed to go to the west to get the scrolls. Now, if you were to talk about Spider-Man 2, my hopes is that they enhance the swinging of the webs, to make it more like fun. Like I don't mean that the first game was like not fun, but I do mean like maybe more of it to kind of be like just live in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like I know like Miles Morales technically had more swinging than the first Peter Parker one, but I do want a Peter Parker one. Not to say that I don't like Miles Morales. I just feel like I'm more close to Peter Parker Spider Man because I grew up with Peter Parker Spider Man. Obviously, my Peter Parker Spider Man is the Tobey Maguire Peter Parker Spider Man, but I would think that technically the game one would be Andrew Garfield Spider Man. Obviously, maybe it's not. Maybe it's the Into the Spider Verse Spider Man Peter B Parker. I don't know. I'm not sure. But there's too many timelines to be sure of. But yeah, I definitely think that they could be doing more of the swinging and them like enjoying to do the wall climbing as well. Like the wall climb in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, the movie. It was really great for me to see it on the big screen because I was like, "Ooh, that's such a cool thing!" Like the little like the little like not real furs, but like the sticky claws on the spider to climb up, and that was really cool thing, cool visual to see that. And I always thought that probably if I do that to my finger, I could stick on the wall. But I was a kid back then, so don't judge me too much, okay? Don't judge me too much. I definitely had the intrusive thoughts of maybe getting bit by a spider isn't that bad if I get powers. But obviously, I wasn't that stupid to really try. You know what I'm saying? And then moving on to yeah, Spider-Man 2. What I'm thinking of is it's obviously going to be the Venom storyline. But what if Venom was on Miles Morales? That could be a storyline that they could dive in. Maybe they're planning multiple games. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm not sure like if it's even existing in Miles Morales comics that he gets turned into Venom. I definitely know that Peter Parker gets the Venom symbiote and he becomes Venom, but I'm not too sure what happens to Miles Morales with the Venom. Does he get it? I don't know, but it could be adapted and it could be done for Miles Morales. Probably him being more angsty as a teen. I don't know. It could be done. It could be done. Hold on, let me just drink this. Right. So moving on. It's tea. If you're wondering. Okay. So yeah. I don't know. I had to show that. I know. I know some people are like, "What are you drinking?" But yeah. So it's to heal my cough because I do have a cough. Stay safe out there. It's flu season. It's influenza season, I think. But anyway, I don't have influenza. I just have a cough. Anyway, coming back to the game. I very much am excited for Spider-Man 2. I definitely think that it would be a step up of Miles Morales Spider-Man. Now, obviously, I'm not hating on Miles Morales Spider-Man, but I do think that maybe the story was kind of sidelined to feed more into the action sequences. Now, if they could if they could kind of find the middle ground, because I feel like the in Peter Parker Spider-Man, which is the original game of Spider-Man, which is 2014 Spider-Man, you know, the game had too much story. So I think if they could find a real compromise of it, it definitely could be a really, really awesome game. I mean, definitely the first Spider-Man got GOTY Game of the Year, but I don't know if Miles Morales got Game of the Year. Probably did, because a lot of people knew about Into the Spider Verse at that time and probably started playing Miles Morales Spider Man as the either the introduction of Into the Spider Verse or them just riding the trend of Into the Spider Verse. Now my thoughts of Across the Spider Verse are well known well known. What the what did I just say? Well known, because definitely in Across the Spider Verse, we got the kind of Venom stand-in, which is Spot. That is to mirror Miles Morales' actions and what he did be- to kind of climax the first movie. Pardon, but like it is part of the movie where it is part of Peter Parker's lore that whatever he does, and for every good deed he does, there will always be somebody somewhere who feels slighted by the good deed. It's the old Batman dilemma of like the Joker. Essentially, Batman made the Joker, and the Joker knows this, and he says, Batman, if you had not been this person, if you had not chosen to be Batman, I would not be. So without you, there is no me, and with you, there is me. So it's all about the dichotomy of the good guy versus the bad guy. But for Spider-Man, it's his decisions and his outcomes and his consequences. For example, in Spider-Man No Way Home, it's him having to deal with the fact that he wanted to save Norman Osborn, but Norman Osborn is the Goblin, and therefore, when he was influenced by the Goblin, he was influenced to kill Aunt May. And when that happened, obviously he lost a relative close to him. And I always thought that I would be kind of I was always not really sitting well with that concept where Anme dying would be the one not making me feel for for Tom Holland Spider-Man. But now thinking back on it, maybe there is some link, because obviously Tony Stark is just a mentor and his father figure, but not really his real father. But his aunt is his closest relative, so I definitely think that would be a harsher hit on him, and therefore leading in him to the path of being an individual superhero. And I think that that was such an interesting thing, because initially he started out as part of a team, which is the Avengers, which is him having to fight Thanos essentially, or him participating in the Civil War, where he had to take the side of Tony Stark, essentially his mentor. And him learning that there are bigger things than the neighborhood, then leading back into the neighborhood Spider-Man, where he's like, oh, maybe me being exposed as Spider-Man is not a good thing, because essentially he doesn't really want the fame, and obviously having the fame doesn't really mean the perks that we all think it would be. Obviously, there would be some detriment to his fame, which is not being accepted to the college which he wanted to go because of said vigilantism which he had done. But obviously I don't know why I didn't. Obviously, if I was the dean, I would be like, "Yo, you Spider Man, bro, you win, man, you win." So, rose-colored glasses. Call it rose-colored glasses. Obviously, I'd call it rose-colored glasses. Obviously, I'd admit Spider-Man, man. Who wouldn't want Spider-Man in your school? Like, it's Spider-Man. So, um, anyway, moving forward, like, I definitely do think maybe they're gonna do Gwen Stacy storyline. I don't know. I just have a feeling, or well, maybe more of a MJ storyline. I don't know, because this one is gonna introduce Venom. So what I'm thinking of is probably there needs to be an emotional baggage for Spider-Man to lose, because in the initial Spider-Man game, it was Doctor Octavius. No, that was Miles Morales. Sorry. In the original one, it was, I don't remember. Oh, Kingpin. Yeah, Kingpin again. Yeah. Miles Morales. Sorry. Miles Morales is the new mob boss. I don't really remember his name. I just remember it's being like a Chinese one where or am I mixing that? I don't know. I played them back to back. Forgive me, guys. So I definitely do think maybe this one is going to be focused on traditional Spider-Man nemesis. Obviously, in either Peter Parker or Miles Morales, we had Electro, but it's, I would have liked to seen more of Electro actually, because I definitely do think that Electro's design in the game is pretty good. So I definitely do like the classic design, by the way, the green and the yellow. That was pretty cool. So I'm definitely excited for the second one, for Spider-Man 2 essentially. What I do think is gonna happen is probably going to be a reference of Uncle Ben, and I don't know if we're gonna be accepting of that or not. But you know, it's been a while. I do think they can bring it back if they wanted to. But yeah, this is just a little bit of update about me being excited about Spider-Man coming up. No, I will not be buying FIFA 24 or FC 24. Now it's being rebranded. I won't buy FC 24, but I'm waiting for FIFA to launch its own football simulation game. Maybe I will see how it goes, see what it looks like, what it is. Probably do a gameplay on it. What my hopes are is that they do a full career mode, which means like manager career mode and player career mode, and make it immersive. Like, that's all I want. That's all I really want. Like, actually, back in the day, like some of the games on mobile had it where you were the real like manager. You could discuss it with the club owners. You could choose. And sometimes you were the club owner or manager. You were the club owner, but you were managing the team. You chose the sponsors, etc., etc. But nowadays everything is more about like in-game money, pay to win, those kind of things. But I mean, like, I get it. You want to maximize your profits, but you shouldn't be doing that. You should just be pricing the game at what you feel the price is, and then move out from there, because you've already paid your advertisers, whatever, and then go off of the the copies you sold. Essentially, like how many people download your game is the revenue you should make, and that's it. You know, my vitriol hate for EA is never ending, because I hate the way they did bad to Plants vs Zombies. They butchered that game. I did love the mechanics of it, the tower defense, and watching YouTube videos on how they were planning it was such an interesting watch. I hope I hope and pray that maybe Age of War would be released, but I don't ever see that coming out. You know, obviously there's a mobile game, but I don't want to play it on mobile. I want to play it on the PC. I want to play it on console, so that it's an interesting thing because it's a tower defense games. I've seen tower defense games on PC, on PlayStation. It's doable. You know, it's definitely doable, but I don't know if anyone's gonna pick them up and redo and pre-master the game to the point where it is playable on the console or the PC. You know, it depends on what you like to play. Obviously, I have both. Um, no flex, but I do have both. But yeah, um, movies coming up that are exciting me. I don't know of any movies coming up. Let me think. Uh, no, I don't think there are. But if there are, I would definitely do some introductions about it. I'm definitely just excited for Spider-Man 2. Little Nightmares coming out. Obviously Batman Wukong, and I do really hope that they do go to the Telltale route for Spider-Man 2, because I do enjoy the Telltale series. I didn't like that, it was such a cliche, and Peter Parker will remember this kind of thing, but I do love the branching storylines. Like that's such uh, a niche idea that could be re-tapped into. The amount of ideas that you could run with branching storylines. Literally, we have the best multi storyline ever, which is Across the Spider Verse, where there's so many timelines. It's the multiverse. You can have so much fun. Like Spider Cat, Spider T Rex. That kind of thing. Um, you know, but I digress. Maybe it's too hard. I don't know. But I'll definitely play the game anyways, and probably you'll see a gameplay on it on my channel. Now some have asked me like like what's happening to my YouTube channel. I am in the midst of thinking of kind of r- like changing the narrative of my channel, because I started off as a reactor, which means that I watch the shows together with you guys, and I give my thoughts on it. Now, a lot of people don't like that style because it's kind of lazy, and I mean, personally for me, it wasn't lazy because I was doing my own editing. I was keeping up with the time. I was keeping up with the American time zone, and I was making sure that the schedules were in time with American schedules, so I could upload them and get the maximum amount of views, because that's what I wanted. I wanted to turn my own SEO, and then I created my own characters because I wanted to kind of be more creative on that, and I had to do a lot of like scouting for the right shirt, for the right dress, and for the hat. It all came together and clicked for me. But obviously that is such an extra amount of work that it kind of led me on to not doing, because it kind of sucked me out. It kind of got me to a point of exhaustion, and then a point of kind of burnout, because I was doing my own editing. I was kind of managing a lot of the things. A lot of the copyright was coming in, and that essentially killed my first channel, which is not non-existent. This is technically my second channel, if you guys don't know. But yeah, I'm still proud of what I built. Nothing can take away from what I built, because it's it's such a great thing to look back on and be like, ah, yeah, I did that. I did do a lot of shows. I did do a lot of movies. I did do a lot of games, because that's what I wanted to do. We talk about movies, talk about games, talk about shows that I loved. But the problem with it is you are talking to yourself essentially. You're doing 101, which is essentially you talking to the camera. Now, sorry about the cough, and this it is just a cough, guys. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. It's pretty hard to get me sick. Like if I'm sick, I'm sick. Like I will definitely be like, yeah, I'm definitely sick, but I'm not sick. I know I'm not sick. Now for you guys are like, yeah, he's just saying that because it's more fashionable to say you're not sick, but I am not sick. I'm not being defensive here. Anyway, moving back. So what envision my channel to be is more of this, which is doing more vlogs, which is doing more video blogs, which is essentially updating you guys about what I feel, about what I do, what like how am I feeling, what essentially updates. But whenever there's a game, I'll be doing my gameplays again. I'll be doing full on gameplays, full on recording again. Now I do want to do like full playthroughs, which means like no interruptions whatsoever. The problem with that is I still live with my parents, and sometimes they do enter my room without knocking, so that could be an issue. And also you won't see my face camera anymore because I do have a web camera, but the background isn't great because essentially I'm filming in technically a storeroom and I don't have my own room, so that's an issue as well. So but that's all things I have to deal with. What you guys need to worry about is the consistency of my content. The consistency of my content is probably on and off. Like I am still on an high. I am still on a hiatus. I do these videos when I feel like it, and when I feel I have content, when feel like I have stuff to talk about. I did do a video essentially talking about my love of Flash games. Maybe one day I'll talk to you guys about that. But essentially, what had happened was I was on Instagram and I was writing about Henry Stickmin, and there was such a long essay that there were like too many words, bro. Too many words. So I don't know. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for listening to me ramble. I know it's just me rambling about Spider-Man, but I really do love Spider-Man, and I hope that this Spider-Man has the proper integration of like story and gameplay. Essentially something along the lines of Detroit Become Human. Like I talked about Detroit Become Human, but I think that game was such a game changer for all games. I don't know why people aren't taking more advantage of that. Obviously, it's more work, but it's such a great idea. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video whenever it comes. See you then. Bye.